And some continuing coverage for you to top the 8 o'clock hour. Hundreds of Americans are now home safe after being rescued from Israel. A plane carrying them arrived in Tampa just over an hour ago.
Yeah, arriving around 6:40 this morning. They had to be evacuated because of ongoing tensions between Israel and Iran. And Tampa is the first stop in the U.S. on their trek back home. Our Jason Lanning has a story of what appears to be a complicated way back home.
The first plane of evacuees from Israel has landed here at Tampa International Airport. Around 300 are on board. We are seeing some family and friends waiting here behind us outside of Airside F as their loved ones go through customs. This is a big moment of relief for these families as their loved ones have scrambled to escape the missile barrages between Iran and Israel this week.
I'm just elated that he's finally back on U.S. soil. So we had
That's Amy Harwood, mom of Scott Gerstel, who was a trip guide for Birthright Israel. He had a group of 30 kids with him as the missiles started flying earlier this week. Their evacuation started with a 2-hour bus ride to a port in Israel. That's where they were taken by cruise ship across the Mediterranean under guard by the Israeli military. That 17-hour boat ride landed them in Cyprus, where they boarded the first of 4 evacuation flights coordinated by the state of Florida. Harwood says she is relieved her son is home and is hoping to spend some time with him this weekend before he flies back home to Colorado. Is he going to stick around in Tampa for a while, or is he going to head straight back to Colorado?
Well, good question, and we're not sure. But I was coming over here. I'm hoping to bring him back to Boca with me for at least the weekend and then get him on a plane to Colorado, because I would just like to just hang out with him a little bit, and my friends are having a little beach party for us on Sunday, so I think that'll motivate him to come and hang out.
And that's just one of more than 1,000 stories playing out here in the coming days at Tampa International. 3 more flights of evacuees are expected in the coming days, with the second flight arriving as early as later on tonight. The state of Florida does tell us it will continue its efforts at these evacuations. And you can see now live, there's the reunion of Amy Harwood and her son Scott, just happening here, that we've been waiting for hours, and they're moving very quickly. But you can imagine why on this moment here at Tampa International Airport. Just imagine what Scott has been through over the past 3 days. Probably very little to no sleep at all, and just a huge moment of relief as he makes it back here to Tampa International Airport. Back to you.
Another big story we're following, continuing coverage of a deal that could heavily impact sports in the Tampa Bay area. Of course, we've heard over the years many speculation about what we're talking about now, the potential sale of the Tampa Bay Rays.
It feels like just this ongoing story for so long now, but so much has unfolded in just the last 24 hours on this. We now know that the team is in talks with a group of investors who are from North Florida, and that this deal could be worth over $1 billion. But a lot of people all have the same question: what does this all mean for the city of St. Pete? For that, our Calvin Lewis, he joins us live in studio now to break it all down. Calvin, it's just been this ongoing back and forth, the city of St. Pete, the Rays, and now this. Where do we stand?
Yeah, so right now it's still a little unclear, but we do know, while the city told us in a brief statement that the team hasn't spoken to them about a sale. Mayor Ken Welch did say this back in March, quote, "If the current owner decides to sell the franchise, we will work diligently and cooperatively with any new owner." He said that right after the plans for a new ballpark deal worth $1.3 billion with St. Pete and Pinellas County fell apart. Reports of the Rays being pressured by the MLB to sell the team ramped at that time as well. This all happened after Hurricane Milton ripped the roof off Tropicana Field last October, forcing the Rays to play this season in Tampa. Now, the news of a potential sale came just hours before the Rays took on the Baltimore Orioles here last night. We spoke with fans heading to Steinbrenner Field for the game, some just hearing the news and having questions about what new owners would mean. One big concern was if the Rays may be leaving Tampa Bay, but wanting to keep them here does not necessarily mean people are against a sale.
It's probably a good idea.
Why do you think that?
I think the current owner doesn't have the best interest in the team.
If it happens, it happens. The big guys with all the money, they make the decisions. But we don't want to go all the way to Orlando if they move them over there.
Of all the way from Longwood for the game told us he disagrees. He says he'd like to see the team based between Tampa and Lakeland to draw more fans from the Orlando area.
And that's an interesting take there because, of course, the Rays have fans in much of the Central Florida region. Orlando has shown interest to bring a baseball franchise over there.
Yeah, certainly. The team behind the Orlando Dreamers met to talk about bringing a team to Central Florida. That's a different group of investors that wants to build a stadium on International Drive. The Dreamers previously expressed an interest in buying an MLB team before, when the future of the Rays was in limbo.
There's been many buyers in the list here, and there's as well many locations of where the Rays might want to end up, they'll end up eventually with whoever decides to make that decision. We'll see what happens. Thanks, Kellen.
Today is Juneteenth, and it's a day commemorating the last African-American slaves learned that they were free in 1865. Now, it just became a federal holiday a couple years ago, back in 2021, when President Joe Biden was in office. But there's going to be events all over the Bay Area today, just recognizing the holiday, including in the city of Tampa. The Tampa Police Department will host its second annual Juneteenth celebration at Perry Harvey Senior Park. These are some pictures from the department of last year's event. Now, it's family friendly. It's going to feature some local vendors, nonprofits, some special recognitions and raffles. TPD says events like this one help to strengthen connections within the community.
This is how we bridge the gap. This is how we build relationships. And ultimately, this is how we create the relationships that contribute to our crime reduction. So we're really looking forward to a great event.
Afternoon, right around 4 o'clock, and it will run until 7 p.m. Now, time now is 8:09. It means time for that weather on the 9's forecast. We're going to bring in our Julie Marquez live. Julie, so pretty. Can't get enough of these photos.
Right. And, you know, today for that event, I do think there's at least a chance of a shower or storm. We're kind of getting back to a more typical summer pattern where most of the rain happens in the afternoons and not late at night. But this morning, we had another fabulous sunrise. So if you missed it, this is a picture from Jim in Trinity of just how gorgeous it was earlier today. This one from Tony in Clearwater, a similar view as a lot of us had some clouds, but not a lot of rain for our morning drive. Lakeland's looking good. We're partly sunny. This is the view over Lake Mirror. It's warm this morning, but it is rain free with Clystron 9 showing we have dried out after some late night thunderstorms. Some very tiny showers are developing south of Cedar Key and to the west of Citrus County right now, and those will be drifting northward. And as we go through the day today, yes, it's going to be hot with some scattered storms. Now, last night we had almost 2 inches of rain at the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport. Tampa had a 1/4 inch of rain. Not everyone had the rain last night or early this morning, but there was some heavy showers right in Pinellas County, including in St. Petersburg, which is now 81. It's 75 degrees in Port Richey, and it's 77 degrees in Crystal River at this hour. Lakeland, you're close to 80. We will be in the 80s and then eventually the low 90s this afternoon. But because of the heating of the day and the sea breeze forming, a little better moisture, I think our chance of a shower or storm will begin later this morning. So the coverage is going to be pretty good through Friday, and then it drops early next week. It also gets hotter by Sunday. Low 90s today. The shower storm chances get an earlier start, but hopefully those thunderstorms are going to end a little bit earlier tonight, maybe not quite waking us all up again. 78 degrees. Tomorrow's high temperature is at 92. Your Friday will feature a 60% chance of rain, but gradually over the weekend those rain chances will drop a little bit. It's going to get hotter by Sunday in the mid 90s. Tim standing by with an update in traffic. He's been watching, of course, some of the roads this morning, and even though we have the holiday Juneteenth, doesn't mean there's nothing to talk about. Good morning.
That's right, Julie. Yeah, some congestion out there, but I do think for the most part you're getting a bit of a break if you do have to head to work today. We're taking a live look for you at 275 just south of Gandy Boulevard in St. Petersburg. Typically during the 8 o'clock hour, you do see that southbound side pick up, and so we have a little bit of congestion there heading towards downtown. I'll have more on Pinellas for you on the map in just a second, but first, though, let's go over to P.1. I want to check in on what's happening on Park Boulevard and 66th Street. The scene is pretty much cleared up here, so hopefully that means it was relatively minor, but at one point we actually had a crash involving a car that went into this restaurant over there off to the side. So for some reason, Pinellas County is now zooming in on these two cars there, but all lanes have now reopened in this area. Let's go over to our maps and see how the rest of your Pinellas County drive is looking. That's the congestion I was showing you on 275 southbound. Again, not too bad, but something you may want to keep in mind. On the northbound side, though, you're looking great from downtown up to the bridge. This report brought to you by your Suncoast Hyundai dealers. Checking in on I-4 for you in just a few minutes.